say counselor.
I tell you, the fact everybody in this movie refers to the lead character as counselor constantly. I was just waiting for Robert De Niro to show up, from Cape Fear.
Yeah.
It's like, because that's like the association in my head. It's like, stop it, head, stop it.
Does he actually have a name?
Counselor.
Counselor.
Do they actually call him anything but counselor?
Yeah.
I assume they do at some
I
point.
feel like they do, but I'm blanking on what his name was.
Well, everything might have gotten lost in the existential babble that was the rest of the dialogue that made up this film.
Oh, that's your conversation most of the time. What are you talking about?
Babble.
First off, co-host, be quiet. And the rest of this review, you sit in the corner.
That's the only time I understand anything you say.
A lot of what happens in this movie is somebody will talk a long time. You go like, God damn, that was awesome. That was some awesome dialogue. That was an awesome speech. And somebody said, well, what did that mean? You're like, I don't really know.
But it sounded good.
But it sounded great. I followed it for a while.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Is like you'll follow it here and there for pieces, and then they'll go off on this whole like, but life really is this, and you're like, wait, stop. You were funny a second ago. Go back to the funny. Who was that?
You guys are bumming me out because this is written by Cormac McCarthy, and I was expecting nothing but greatness.
Wait a minute. How did you feel about No Country for Old Men?
I didn't care for the ending, but I love the rest of the film.
See, I'm the same way.
Yeah. What, did I say something wrong?
Oh, but wait a minute,
did I lose?
See, while you and I were over there watching Johnny Knoxville dressing up like an 86-year-old man, they were watching a movie that was written by Cormac McCarthy.
That's right.
Directed by Ridley Scott. Damn! And has the new white person that I hate the most, Michael Fassbender.
Why, is he supposed to have a black guy-sized dick?
No, come on, man. You know,
No.
I am too fresh off of 12 Years a Slave.
I know.
And
I walked into it ready to be mad at him myself. I was like,
but I do love Michael.
Because last year, year before, he was your boy.
Well,
he was your
still-
soulmate.
You know what? He still is, man. I'm mad at him right now. I'll get over it.
The way I look at it, he was programmed that way. I'm still thinking he's a robot from Prometheus. It's a bad program.
Well,
A glitch.
let me just say, were you to see this, you would stop being mad at him because you feel like, well, he got paid back.
I guess.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not even sure entirely why what happened to him happened to him.
That's a big question.
Yeah, because this movie, I'm waiting for you to go, so what's this movie about? And there would be a long silence. Or we go,
Wow.
I could sort of tell you.
Well, you know what?
Michael Fassbender's a lawyer who decides he needs money, and so he makes a deal with two friends of his, Javier Bardem and Brad Pitt's characters, to get involved with the cartels on some sort of coke deal. And somehow it goes terribly wrong. Something to do with Cameron Diaz's character doing secret stuff behind the scenes, and something to do with the cartels thinking on the most
Maybe I can step in.
tiniest.
Yeah, please do it. Because I'm lost as hell.
Well,
right
you'll
now.
be lost watching the movie.
You will, but it's. I mean, not discounting anything that Cyrus just said. It's mostly about him. He's a lawyer, and he's in love with
Michael Fassbender.
Michael Fassbender, and he's madly in love with Penelope Cruz, and buys her this huge Kanye West-sized diamond because he wants to marry her. They just have the best sex. They're in love with each other. But he wants to live a little bit above his means, and his buddy is Javier Bardem. You talk about live above your means. This guy throws big, gigantic, wild parties. Cameron Diaz is his girlfriend. They go around. They go into the desert with their cheetahs just to watch them hunt rabbits out in the desert.
They can't get cats like everybody else. They
No, they gotta have cheetahs.
Cameron Diaz is
cheetahs that wear like diamond-studded collars.
Damn. Do they drive cars too?
No, picture them as like a couple who were the Bond villains in the Roger Moore
Yes.
years. That's what
it's like if two Bond villains decide to hook up.
Exactly.
See, and I can already see what happens here, because that's what happens, man. You get a girl, she kind of messes with your head, and you got to start buying her stuff that's beyond your means.
Actually,
that's how you get in trouble.
He pretty much says that. They have a lot of conversations that are kind of obtuse as far as like trying to figure out what they're saying, but it takes a while to get to the meat of it. But him pretty much saying like, yeah, I'm in love with this girl, even though I'm kind of scared of her, but I'm just buying shit for her. And the whole thing is Michael Fassbender is like wanting to like, okay, finally get into some business with I can't want to call him Raul Julia, with Javier Bardem. And it's hard to tell if it's drugs or this new club he wants to build, but Brad Pitt is in on it too. And Brad Pitt tells Michael Fassbender right off. Brad Pitt's not in it a lot, but every time he's in it, the movie's his. He owns it.
True.
And he's just talking to him and just telling him all about what he's getting into. Telling him like, you shouldn't be doing this. You're not going to listen. You stepping in. Once you in, that's it.
Yeah, and even more so saying, like, the deal is, I've known that the bad day is going to come eventually,
Yeah.
so I know how to disappear. You're going to be fucked if things go wrong.
Yeah,
But I know you, and you're stupid.
well, yeah, he's telling us. I mean, people tell him, like, hey, you're stupid. You got something to lose. Brad Pitt's like, right now, I could drop a smoke bomb and just go live in Tibet in a monastery, eat rice. But you
Goodbye.
goodbye. Michael Fassbender thinks he knows better.
You'll drop a stink bomb, and everybody know it came from your ass.
You'll be holding it.
Now, there's some other plot things that happen that seem like they don't really connect to it, and it's even hard to see what it is. But it's almost like 2 days later, Brad Pitt's coming to Michael Fassbender saying, like, well, the deal went south, and the cartel blames you.
So, see ya.
Sorry, dude. I'm like I said, I'm leaving right now.
Yeah. All right. So that's what we have.
Well, what should I do? Don't know. Bye.
What are you gonna do?
I don't know.
What are you?
I don't know. That's what Westray said, but he did know, didn't he?
What are you gonna use for money?
I've got some money.
I don't think so. If you had any serious money, you wouldn't be this jackpot in the first place.
I might.
Ah, yeah? Well, I know why I'm in it. Do you?
Sure, same as you. Greed.
Yeah. No, you got in trouble. You got in trouble. I tried to appeal to your greed 2 years ago. No deal. Now it's too late. It's too late.
What do you think I should do?
I don't know, counselor. I don't know.
So pretty much what you're telling me is Ridley Scott has lost his fucking mind?
Well, I don't blame Ridley Scott.
No, I don't blame him
It's a
either.
beautiful, stylish movie. He gets great performances out of everybody in it.
Well,
Okay. Almost everybody.
Except for Cameron Diaz, who when everyone else was trying to work their way acting-wise around this really difficult, complicated dialogue, she just went, I'll just act sexy through it. And looks like she's completely out of place in this film.
But she is sexy, though.
She is sexy. I'll hand her
We'll
that.
give her that.
But what you're telling me, though, is you guys have no real sense of where the story is heading.
No. You know what? There's like with No Country for Old Men, it's got a lot of those same problems in that, like, hey, there's some interesting characters and some great dialogue, and I want to see what's going to happen. But also, some of the important things are kind of what's the word? Obfuscated? I don't know.
Obfuscated.
Find another word.
Yeah. They're just kind of hard to figure out. Let's say like certain parts of information they aren't giving you. Like people will talk on the phone, but you don't have an idea of who they're talking to.
Yeah.
And it made me realize, like, we're so used to having movies that are spoon fed to us. They give you the plot, they make sure you know everything, and 3/4 of the way they stop and like retell you everything that's happened at that point. This doesn't spoon feed you at all, and it made you realize, like, I need a little bit of that.
Yeah.
You just pick that spoon up just a little bit because I'm kind of losing like what exactly is happening here. And
Too much
what's
on the
going
menu.
on.
I have no question that Cormac McCarthy is significantly smarter than me and most of my friends. Like, no question at all. He just doesn't understand that I'm not. He doesn't get that at all. And he writes these things where it's like, you have to fit all these separate pieces together in a way that's extremely difficult to do and to follow, especially when everyone is speaking like almost a modern day equivalent of a Shakespeare play.
Kinda.
And that they're just waxing philosophical. I mean, like, there'll be like a bartender in a sleazy Mexican bar who starts espousing about existential theory
man.
for no reason.
Why you all down on Mexican bartenders?
I'm just, well,
It's like,
he's-
what, they can't be intelligent or philosophical?
well, do you see that bar?
I have a question for you. Have you ever had a philosophical conversation with a Mexican bartender? Not, thank you. No, I'm kidding. That's
I
racist.
did have one with a Mexican stripper, though.
Yeah.
You know what?
They're speaking Spanish. That's why. That's why I was. Yeah.
It's just it seems to be intentionally trying to confuse the audience to go like, hey, this is metaphor, and if you don't get it, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, and I don't know if it's intentionally. Like, to me, it was like you ever worked the TV Guide crossword puzzle?
No.
No.
Because if you were to,
I'm not Archie Bunker.
If you were to, it's super easy. It's so easy. You like, come on, man, who couldn't get these? You make it a little bit harder. If you work the one in the local newspaper, like, all right, I got to work a little bit, but I can get this. You go to the New York Times crossword puzzle, and you're
Forget
like,
it.
well, that's just you just going to give me one word? This could be anything. This is like that, where it's like expecting you to like, well, come on, you could piece this together. It's like, Not really.
And see, I would even argue you keep saying there's great dialogue, and I don't agree with that. I think there are great turns.
Fuck you.
No, there are great turns of phrase. There are these moments where you're like, "Oh, that's a nice exchange that sounded beautiful on the page," but in the middle of the whole rest of the discussion, it's like these still don't seem like real people.
I think that they are great pieces that don't fit together well.
Yeah, because these drawn characters that don't seem like real people at all because no one speaks this way.
Well, I mean, I can get past that. That's not a big deal. But it was at the end, it was that No Country for Old Men feeling again. Like, okay, there's a lot of philosophizing going on here, but that part at the end that tells me what this was really all about, it's just kind of not there. It gives you some philosophical message. It's like, yeah, it's fine for this one thing, but all this other shit, why'd you make me sit through this?
Yeah, it's another, life is hard.
Yeah.
You should have been paying attention when we told you that if you're not a dick, you're going to lose. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.
But it also does some lazy things. Like early on, Javier Bardem talks about this device called a bolito, which is like a automatic.
So the 99 cent menu at Taco Bell.
Yeah, it's
right. It's like, it's a Garrett you throw around somebody's neck that's got a machine on it that'll just tighten it to the point it'll cut your head off. He says, yeah, you know what this is? He tells you early in the film. So later.
No, he's spoiling something right here?
No, it's just that later, once that's told, it's going to pop up in the film somewhere.
Yeah, because it seems like, why do they
Why
even
they even mention that?
elaborate
Except
story?
for the fact that it's going to come
It's
up.
that old Hitchcock rule about showing a gun.
Yeah, you're going to use it.
Yeah.
So later, when there's a character who you figure they're going to put the hit on, it's like, here it comes.
There's a
There it
weird
is.
obsession throughout this whole movie with decapitation, too, that
True.
I couldn't quite figure out what he was trying to get at. But that's true of a lot of the stuff in
what
here.
the cartel does,
Well,
right?
for some reason, no, but I mean, the movie itself is really into the idea of decapitation.
They bring it up every 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And it comes up constantly. And also the cheetahs, I guess they were, who belong to the characters
Cameron Diaz
and Javier Bardem. Man, they put a lot of focus on those fucking cheetahs.
Were they the ones doing the decapitating? Is that
No.
what was going on?
But I think
Dressed up in
ultimately
suits,
they're just
eating Cheetos?
it's like, don't you get it? The cheetahs are a symbol of the holiness of the predator, and you're like, oh, shut up.
I mean, it's one of these things where I think
Predator from Schwarzenegger movie?
Not that predator. Sorry, I wish it had been.
like with No Country for Old Men, it's one of these things where I'm sure this works fine as a novel. If you've read the book, it's probably fascinating.
There is no book. This is
No,
an
there's
original
about to be.
screenplay.
Yeah, this is a screenplay.
There's about to be a book.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
But
maybe we should tell them to stop. Don't do that.
Yeah, because it was a screenplay before it was a
Yeah,
book. That was
right.
the big deal
Yeah, they're
about
publishing
Oh,
an
okay.
accompanying book with it.
it. Well, maybe the book will explain some things that you didn't get from the movie. Maybe that's the advertisement. You didn't understand what happened here? Read this shit here.
And then the video game will come out.
Yeah.
We can get into that too. Yeah.
It's a shame because Scott, as per usual, gets some beautiful shots in here
yeah.
and cinematography. There's some nice stuff going on here, some interesting themes, and there's some really good performances. But overall, at the end, at the halfway point, I was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on, and I just want this to be over.
It's like it's assembling, and you keep giving it space because, I know all this is going to come together and make sense. And even when they have a scene that cuts off abruptly, it's like, that's okay. It's probably setting up for something later. Then it comes that point when the movie's a little over 2 hours, and you start going like,
Damn.
all right. It's not happening.
Worn out
the
welcome.
Great Pumpkin is not going to show up.
So I should really give up on Prometheus 2 making any sense.
At this point, you might
I
probably
don't
should.
think they're going to
Like I said, don't blame
Cormac
Ridley Scott.
McCarthy's not
I
writing
was
the
going to say,
script.
Cormac McCarthy's not writing for the previous two.
Yeah.
Maybe he should.
Good time.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's over 2.5 hours. That's a long time.
no,
Two and
over
a half.
2 hours.
I said just a little over 2.
Okay, just a little bit too. All right.
Yeah.
Which is still too long.
Yeah, there's some fat that could have been.
You just guys bummed the shit out of me tonight. I mean, with such an awesome writer and a great cast.
Oh yeah, I know.
I mean,
well.
especially seeing these guys just yesterday, all in a different movie, dealing with a whole other different subject.
There's
Yeah.
weird sequences in it too, where there'll be good actors who are in one scene,
Yeah.
and you're like, why was that scene even in the movie?
Yeah.
It was so out of left field. These little moments like that. I feel like I'm just too stupid to understand this movie, quite frankly.
Well, I feel like I'm too stupid to understand it, but then whoever tried to explain it to me would be such an asshole about it,
Yeah.
I'd be like, you know what? Both of y'all are stupid. Fuck you.
Yeah, I kind
Is that what you're giving it?
No.
Is there a clause in Javier Bardem's contract where every character he plays now has to have fucked up hair?
right?
so.
Well, I think that's what he was born with. I'm not so sure.
He's like a chameleon of bad hair.
Yeah.
We never know what his real hair is.
It's the Nicolas Cage contract.
He's going for like a Billy Idol look. I don't know what the hell's going on in this movie.
Look, you know what he looks like to me? Look up the Heat Miser from. What was that movie called?
The Year Without a Santa
Year Without a
Claus.
Santa Claus. That's what he looks like to me.
To be fair,
Well,
like,
it's not in the cone shape. It's just like he moosed it, but didn't bother to brush it or anything.
left alone.
Thought the moose was going to do all the work.
he looks normal next to Cameron Diaz, though. He looks
about the
normal
real
next to
Moose.
Cameron Diaz, who is just plain weird and creepy, both in what she wears and everything she says. There's a sequence where he's describing her masturbating herself on the windshield of his car. He says, "That woman fucked my car."
They put a lot of work into that scene.
Yeah,
too.
and like-
but it doesn't really pay off in any
It
way.
has nothing to do with anything
Sounds sexy to
except
me.
like
Oh, it is.
Yeah, except like it's sexy, I guess. But then he's describing. He's like, "So what's the matter?" Because he looked shell shocked. He's like, "It was so gynecological."
It's an awesome another thing in here. Like it's an awesome scene that
That's
doesn't
not
really
connected.
connect to everything else in here.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. Somebody else need to come in and edit this movie. Like just have the studios take it away and somebody else look. I'm gonna put this together in a way that makes it make sense.
You guys really have described a mess.
That
It
is.
feels like a mess. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's-
like I
I'm-
said,
yeah, that's what
I'm
it
willing
sounds
to concede that I may quite simply just not be smart enough to understand the way this is pure cinematic perfection. But to me, it was just dull and kind of lifeless and didn't make much sense. And I give it a Randall.
All right.
I liked it better than him because I appreciated the different things in it. And
You understood all the things that he couldn't.
no, I'm not gonna say that.
Right? No, I'll say it for you. Yeah, you did. You're
I'm not gonna
smarter
say
than
that.
him.
It's just like-
Go back to the corner, co-host. What did I tell you?
But I can appreciate a lot of what's going on while recognizing that the whole of it does not add up. It's better in just parts. So I don't know. I'm somewhere between a low matinee and a high rental.
Well, what is that?
You got to pick one.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
you know
One or the
that.
other.
Whoa,
Come on.
man, you can't do that shit.
Yeah.
One of these days, it's gonna work one day.
Yeah, when you're doing the show all by yourself. Yeah.
No, I guess I give it a high rental because there's no reason that you have to go see it in the theater ultimately. And matter of fact, if you went to see it based on something I said, you'd probably come back in my face. So I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna say a high rental.
Be looking for your head.
And I would say as well, you'd probably not too bad an idea to watch this with the pause button readily available and subtitles.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to watch this.
Oh, as a matter of fact, yeah, because Michael Fassbender, bless his heart for being a great actor, but he still can't shake that accent.
Yeah.
And when you get scenes with him and Javier Bardem talking with each other, I was like, subtitles, please.
Well, I'm not going to see this at all because I can't do the Reader's Digest crosswords. That's why I answered no. I'm dumb as a motherfucker. I know. I couldn't understand this
Yeah,
review.
I know. Your review was a crossword puzzle for us.
Unsolvable at that.
I have something to discuss with you, and I'm a bit scared.
If you pursue this road, you will eventually come to moral decisions that will take you completely by surprise.
What do you think I should do?
I don't know, Counselor.
Switch off the engine.
They're not cops. It's gonna be all right.
Are you superstitious?
How bad is it?
Let's say pretty bad. And then multiply it by 10.